What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Superman issue number 23, written by Joshua Williamson, artwork by Dan Mora. This one is picking up after the events of the previous issue. It kind of wraps up, at least for now, this little Doomsday time trapper storyline in a pretty interesting way so far. And there's also some teases for some big stuff coming to the Superman title, like later on down the road, like such as the arrival of like General Zod, and also kind of at the end of the issue, which was really cool, was the whole absolute universe kind of tie-ins with the whole thing with Doomsday and Time Trapper and all that stuff kind of going on here. So, I mean, Doomsday is Time Trapper. So, yeah, Lois Lane has been kind of battling with, being Superwoman, and she likes the powers, but now she's kind of feeling more of the responsibility of it all. Doomsday, or, Time Trapper kind of gives her a chance to kind of, he can kind of undo things if she kind of lets him die and all that too, so he can ascend into this basic godhood. And she's basically like, you know what, I don't trust you, why would you trust this guy? And she's like, yeah, you're not going to really hurt me because you need me to kind of like enact this sort of thing towards you. So that's what happens. He snaps his fingers. Jimmy ends up getting hurt like in the crossfire with some really great looking artwork by Dan Mora, which, you could say that every issue. Dan Mora's artwork is fantastic. I don't know how the hell he's drawing this and Justice League Unlimited like in the same month, because some comic artists can only do like one book a month, but Dan Mora, for whatever reason, is like, oh, I'm gonna have two top tier looking books within the same month, and it's kind of crazy how he's able to do that. So some great looking artwork right here from kind of start to finish. I mean, look at the shot of Superman right there, just ready to punch him. It's like, go ahead, do it. But then, eventually like Lex Luthor gets an idea. He's like, I'm just going to bottle up, the alien invaders alongside Doomsday into like this whole bottle of city sort of method, like what Brainiac would do. So he's got them apprehended, but then Lois is kind of wondering if Doomsday dies because of time slowing down, who knows what kind of powers he could resurrect with, because in this little bottled city, time is slowed down. But what if that's exactly what creates the time trapper of Doomsday? Because every time Doomsday dies, he evolves to like survive it. So it's just kind of an endless like cycle with him. Like, you can't ever just put him down for good. And that's just kind of crazy to think about. Like, there has to be some way to just kind of like, okay, what if we eviscerate every atom in Doomsday's body to where he legit can't recover from that? There's nothing left. Is he just going to ascend from nothing good? So I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering that myself. So, but also in the crossfire with all that stuff going on, Jimmy Olsen did get hurt. And Silver Banshee, who's been his, romantic interest for a little while, is kind of really ticked off at Lois for this whole thing. Well, Superwoman is like, this is all your fault. The man I love is in a coma because he was trying to get a picture of you. You've basically created your own, like, first arch enemy. So Silver Banshee, like, is just kind of mad over the whole Superwoman thing because, like, she wouldn't take a picture. I don't know. That's kind of silly a bit, but Lois was the one kind of like, oh, you got to get a picture of Superwoman and all that, yada, yada. They're making a big deal out of it. But now she has her own little enemy, and she also talks about how for the first time in her life she's kind of scared of the future. This is where we also get the Zod tease, because he's, getting ready to come into the picture. And of course the big absolute universe kind of characters brought in. So do we continue this summer, but here next month for Superman versus Mercy. So Superman, like, as a title, has been a little bit more lighthearted. There's been a lot of kind of like, quirky stuff, and there's been some like action bits, but all the characters are seemingly kind of in a good place for a little while at least, because we also have the stuff with like Luthor. He's like, okay, he lost his memory, but he's kind of more on the good side now. Jimmy was at Silver, Banshee for a while. However, now there's a lot more cracks in the armor starting to unfold, and it kind of makes sense that Doomsday in some sort of fashion is kind of the person who kind of push things into that direction, I should say. I mean, there's been a lot of challenges that they faced throughout this run, but now that Doomsday shows up, that's when stuff really starts to go wrong. And you feel that the kind of more upbeat, kind of positive Superman book with, more people so happy-go-lucky and on the same page, is there's starting to be more cracks in it. Like, you're starting to see that kind of deteriorate, and darker days are definitely ahead for, the Man of Steel family in a way. So I thought that was kind of interesting how, like, the whole, like, them kind of like creating Time Trapper in a way is like him being bottled up in the city, which you understand why he had to do it, because there's just too much chaos, but you got to try and find another solution for it too. So like Luthor did what he had to do, didn't quite kill him, but just kind of bottle him up. But like, what if that's ultimately like what creates this next form of Doomsday to become the time traveler. And so basically what they were trying to avoid ends up happening. So it's kind of an endless cycle. Like, what do we got to do to solve this problem? So I thought that was kind of neat and like interesting, but it kind of puts them in a bit of a screwy situation with all the stuff kind of going on here too. And I'm sure Lex is going to kind of regain his memory back soon. All the romantic stuff, him with Mercy, that's going to get thrown out the window. And Silver Banshee now going to become more of a villain, probably going to have her heart broken by Jimmy Olsen, just kind of predicting some things right now. And things are just going to start to go wrong for all the characters. And now that Zod's coming back too, and then you got the Summer of Superman stuff going on. So a lot of different moving pieces within this title, but I still thought it was pretty solid, like overall from start to finish. I've enjoyed this run on Superman, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So, and with that said, that'll be it for this video. Be sure to check out some of the other like DC comic reviews I'm posting, like, you know, simultaneously with this one, and then some other stuff as well. So should be a fun time. All right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.